Hi there everyone, my name is DJ, this is the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel, and today I'm looking at all of the cards from Core 2021. I did a quick look at these cards and now I want to do an exhaustive review because I think that they're amazing. This video went a little bit long, so I'm dividing it into 3 different videos that you can see on this channel. So if you see one of them, just know that there's 2 more of them out there. All right, let's take a look at some of these Core 2021 cards. Let's start with Azusa Lost But Seeking, amazing reprint, 2 and a green, 1/2. You may pay 2 additional lands on each of your turns. That's 3 lands. The price tags were crazy, and now the price tag is pretty reasonable. So thank you for this reprint. Speaking of reprints, Colossal Dreadmaw. Moving on, Cultivate being reprinted, sitting here at Uncommon. Look at this, down to 38 cents, chef's kiss, that's where it needs to be. Okay, let's look at this thing, which, by the way, I'm looking in the background and I don't even know, like, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Elder Gargaroth is a 5 CMC, so 3 green for a 6/6 beast with Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. Those keywords. When Elder Gargaroth attacks or blocks, choose one. Just choose one. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Gain 3 life. Draw a card. Do you know what? Like, this is still just a 5 mana 6/6. It still dies to everything, but there's such a saturation of powerful cards in Commander that you can't kill every single one. And if this draws a card, it's amazing. You know, if this lets you create another beast and really start, I mean, it's just when it attacks or blocks, like, and it just lets you like swing into more and more stuff. The value is, it's crazy. Vigilance, Reach, and Trample 6/6. I mean, I think that there's a lot of going to be just big dumb green decks that are like, okay, I'll put it in. And it's not going to be anything that's like super special. I don't know. Maybe do you know what? There is a new keyword deck. And so maybe this goes in the keyword deck pretty well. Feline Sovereign, 2 and a green for a 2/3 cat. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have protection from dogs. Cat Lord, great. Goes in your cat decks. Done. Whenever one or more cats you control deal combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Great. This is a staple in cat commander decks from here until eternity. It's fantastic. Good job, cat. I mean, good job, but like, didn't you just knock this cup over? Really? That's exactly what happened. I know cats. Fierce Empath reprint, great. This is already a cheap card, but getting cheaper. Look, the lowest price, 30 cents. This is going to be like a quarter and it's great. Pick it up. Okay. Garrick Unleashed, 4 CMC for a 4 loyalty planeswalker, +1, up to 1 target creature gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. Boring. Don't care about pump on a creature. Trample is fine, but that's not why you have this. Okay. Create a -2, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a loyalty counter on Garrick Unleashed. No, I don't want this Garrick at all. I'm making a beast is fine, but I have to make a lot of beasts to have this worth 4 mana. I mean, Trumpeting Herd is not a card I want to play. I probably should have brought up my cards before I did not spell herd right. I did spell herd right. Trumpeting Herd is 4 mana for 2 elephants. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So why on earth is Garrick gonna be good? So yeah, I'm just gonna avoid this Garrick, even though his art looks crazy good. And I like Garrick so much. I wanted him to be better. I mean, the ultimate, at the beginning of your end step, you may search your library for a creature card, put it on the battlefield, and shuffle your library is insane. You know, that's great, but you're not going to always get to the ultimate. Garrick's Harbinger. 1 green, so that's 3 mana for a 4/3, hexproof from black, deals combat damage to a player planeswalker. You may Look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may reveal a creature or Garrick planeswalker, put it into your hand, put the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. I like this effect a lot. You know, being able to get in for damage and sort of start churning through your deck and dealing deeper. This is the green Ophidian. I really, really like it. I think that it will work really well in trample-based decks because you want to be getting through for damage all the time. Okay, someone told me to look at Garrick's Uprising, so this is my first look. Enters the battlefield if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Okay, so we've seen these effects of whenever power 4 or greater, like Colossal Majesty and stuff like that. But I really like the fact that this just gives everything trample. It has this static ability that you're looking for. You know, and I know that this static ability comes on other creatures, but a lot of the times those are on 3 or 4 CMC creatures, and this can give you a little bit of card draw, and then giving you a static ability that you like. I'm a fan. Heroic Intervention. Amazing reprint. This was sitting at a pretty high price tag. It was up at like $12 or $15, and now it's been reprinted, and I think it's great. Also, a Johnny slicing a net in half. Yeah, that guy was about to be netted. Come on. Like, if I were thinking of the most heroic intervention that I could have, like jumping in front of a weighted net that like an Ewok could throw is not something. I'm sorry. Sorry, Johnny. Joriel Mulvani Recluse. Joriel is 1 and a green for a 1/2 human druid. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 green cat creature token. You're always going to be wanting to draw cards, and there's a lot of card drawn green, specifically ways to draw like an extra card every turn. So we've got that. And so we can make a lot of cats. Great. How many cats to make this creature good? 1 or 2, actually. So I love cards that have really low cost to getting their value. 4 green until end of turn. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Whoa. This is great. 6 mana, and if you're holding 4 or 5 cards in your hand, then you can suddenly just give this crazy big anthem to your whole team. I'm a fan. I like this card a lot. Don't know if it's going to actually be a commander, but I can see it going in a lot of different green decks. Llanowar Visionary is a Llanowar elf and an Elvish Visionary jammed together, and it's surprisingly good. I mentioned, oh, look at that art. I need that thing. It's so good. They know when they make a good common, when they give it really cool art. Okay. So a Llanowar elf is great because it accelerates you into 3. You know, that's something you want. You want to get on the board pretty fast. But in Commander, it's okay to accelerate at 3 mana to get to 5 and 6 better. You know, that's just something that happens in our format. So even though I think that the faster acceleration is better, like 2 mana acceleration is key, you know, acceleration that gets lands on the battlefield is better. The fact that this replaces itself has me feeling really good, and the fact that it's 18 cents has me feeling even better. Fan of Llanowar Visionary. And then let's keep going to, I mentioned Primal Might before, it's fine. I want to talk about Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest when we talk about the shrines, but let's talk about the reprint of Scavenging Ooze. There's a cool looking one. Yeah, look at that art. Oh, Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze is a great card because it just messes with your opponent's graveyard, and so many different decks now just rely on the graveyard, and graveyard hate is something that you definitely need in your deck. So this is a creature hoser that at one point in time was kind of expensive, like $5. Yeah, get that down to like $2. Great. Always got to look at extra spiders. Come on. Spore Web Weaver, 2 and a green for a 1/4 reach, hexproof and blue. When Spore Web Spider is dealt damage, you gain 1 life and create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. Not a great card, but if you're looking for spiders in the spider deck, you've got yourself another spider. But it doesn't create spiders. Needed it to create spiders. Do you know what? we're almost at the end. Let's just look at Truffle Snout, because this is my cutest art of the green set right here, of the green cards. Love it. Want this as a pet. Want to give Truffle Snout just a big hug and then eat all the truffles that he brings home to me. Okay. And then this Wildwood Scourge is a Hydra. It's very mediocre. Whenever one or more counters are put on another non-Hydra creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on this one. So you're like, okay, it gets bigger, but this doesn't go in Hydra decks, so it's like a real disappointment. Okay, cutest card, Truffle Snout. Amazing. Best art is gonna be this one, Joriel. Look at that. Oh, I love it. I love this like majesty in the front, and then it's just like, oh, you got like these cats in the background where it's like, you know, I'm allowed to be majestic because I got these kitty cat bodyguards ready to rip your face apart. And then the card that I'm most excited about, I mean, besides the reprints, the reprints over here in green are crazy. But the card that I've got to be the most excited about is... This card seems so boring. I'm going to give it to Joriel as well. I'm pretty excited about this card. I think it's going to be really fun. Yeah, we'll do Joriel again. Seems good. All right, let's get into the multicolored cards and the artifacts and the lands, which means we're almost done. All right, we're on the home stretch. Alpine Houndmaster comes with two little good boys, including my favorite good boy from Mono White. But ultimately, it's Boros gets two other dumb creatures. Conclave Mentor, though. Green-white for a 2/2 Centaur Cleric. If one or more +1/+1 counters would put on a creature you control, put that many +1 counters on that creature instead. It's like a hardened scales effect on a dude. A lot of times in these decks, you want creatures, so that's kind of good. If it dies, you gain life equal to its power. A little bit of a bonus there. We have Experimental Overlord. The Overlord. Just an Experimental Overlord, though. Create an XX blue and red weird creature token where X is the number of instant and sorcery creatures in... Create an XX blue and red weird creature token where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. Then you may return an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, exile this thing. So remember I was talking about how we had this effect, like even in Izzet, we have Izzet Chronarch, a 2/2 get a thing back. Okay. This is cheaper and you could get a 5/5. You could also get like a 1/1 or a 2/2. And also one of the big advantages of having this on a creature is that oftentimes you have ways to bounce the creature and get way more of this back. But some people are going to want Experimental Overload. Moving on, Indulging It's been a lot of talking. Let's get through this. Indulging Patrician. 1 white black for a 1/4 Vampire Nova lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life, each opponent loses 3 life. Yeah, I like this a lot. I mean, 3 is a high threshold to get to, but then boom, drain everyone for 3. Like, that's a lot. Just imagine if you had a 3 CMC creature that did 9 damage every single turn. It's crazy in multiplayer. Okay, Leafkin Avenger, people were talking about that. But really, if you have more than, like, basically tapped out a green for each creature you control with power 4 or greater, and this has power 4 or greater, so it always taps for green. But people are talking about this tapping for 2 or 3. And I don't know, I'm just not excited about ramping into even bigger things when you already have 3/4 drops on the battlefield. Okay. And then it deals damage equal to its power to target player or planeswalker. People are talking about pumping up its power super big and then dealing damage, but if this costs 8, how are you pumping up its damage pretty big? Lore Scale Quaddles reprint, awesome. Nyambi Esteemed Speaker is a legendary 2/1 human cleric with flash. It enters the battlefield. You can return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you gain life equal to that creature's converted mana cost. White Mane Lion, White Mane Fleece, White Lion? Yeah, White Mane Lion is a thing. Like, people play this card a lot. It's got a lot of utility. Afara decks play it. And so this sounds like it could go into an Afara deck really nicely. This White Mane Lion gives us some protection, but this is even better because you don't have to bounce anything. It still has flash, and it has this activated ability of discard a legendary card to draw 2 cards. A role player, not like a super duper big card. But Rada, Heart of Keld, is a huge, awesome, I mean, just adjectives going on right here. Okay, 1 red green for a 3/3 elf warrior. As long as it's your turn, Rada, Heart of Keld has first strike. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands from the top of your library. That's drawing cards. And if you can combine this with Azusa, you can draw a lot of cards. It's great to play lands off the top of your deck. 6 mana, Rada gets +X/+X until end turn, where X is the number of lands you control. This could be 6 mana. Rada's a 9/9 first strike when it's swinging in. Doesn't have trample, but it doesn't matter because playing lands off the top of your library is a powerful effect. Courser of Kruphix is a amazing card, you know, and this is a copy of Courser of Kruphix. I think it's great. Let's talk about shrines. Sanctum of All. Wooburg for a legendary enchantment shrine. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may search your library and or graveyard for a shrine card and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If an ability of another shrine you control triggers while you control 6 or more shrines, that ability triggers an additional time. Okay, so this basically lets you tutor up shrines. Awesome. We're already super excited about that. And then when you get to the critical mass of shrines, then this thing goes crazy. Let's look at the shrines, okay? Because we talked about all of the ones from this set, but then there are 5 more Hondens that you can do. So let's find out what a shrine deck would look like, okay? At the beginning of your upkeep, gain 2 life for each shrine you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, deal damage to target creature or player equal to the number of shrines you control. Create a 1/1 colorless spirit token for the shrines you control. Each target opponent discards cards for each shrine you control. Draw a card for each shrine you control. This is loot for shrines you control. This is add mana for shrines you control. Damage to creature or planeswalker. Bleh. Sorry, I shouldn't be so negative. This one is each opponent loses X life and you gain X life. I like that one. And then this one is basically it's going to get down to white, tap target creature. That's great. So all of these shrines, clearly the best ones, I think, are going to be Honden of Seeing Wind, Honden of Infinite Rage, dealing tons of damage, making tokens. Sanctum of Calm Waters also is going to be pretty good. I like Sanctum of Stone Fangs. This is a fun deck. Like, we're gonna play this deck. People are gonna make Hondens and shrines tribal. And then also people are going to be crying about why they can't run Sanctum of All as their commander. There's going to be a lot of people running Sanctum of All as their commander. I would let you play Sanctum of All as your commander. I think this is so much fun. Good job, Wizards, for bringing back Honden/shrines. Just solid inclusion. Fun card. Twin Blade Assassins. I know this is an uncommon, but it's going to be very cheap. It's 5 CMC for a 5/4. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, draw a card. Okay. Now, Death Reap Ritual is already an uncommon. Death Reap Ritual. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, draw a card. Okay. This is triggering off of the end of each end step. This is just your end step. But this comes with a 5/4 body for an additional mana. Okay, both of these are going to be very budget, and so I think it's something that you'd want to pay attention to because incidental card draw is good. Watcher of Spheres, white, blue for a 2/2 flying. Creature with a flying costs 1 less to cast. When a flyer enters the battlefield, this gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Flying decks are a thing. I think they're fun. You could play this card in your flying deck. Chromatic Orrery is 7 mana. Basically, this fixes all the colors of your mana, and so once it fixes all your colors, it adding colorless doesn't really matter. So it adds 5 colorless, and then you do 5 tap to draw a color for each color among permanents you control. So you could draw up to 5 cards with it. I don't find a lot of need for a 7 mana rock. Like, what on earth are you ramping into? I don't think there's anything that I have, like Brass's Bounty maybe? I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's anything that I've ever had that ramps at 7. I'm just wondering, what are you doing that on turn 7 or when you have 7 mana, you're just ramping even more instead of impacting the game? I think it's slow and splashy. I already talked a little bit about Maze Mine Tomb. 2 mana artifact. You can tap to scry, and then you can pay 2 and tap to draw a card. But if there ever accrue 4 or more of these page counters, then you exile it, and then you gain 4 life. Okay, nice little role player. I like that it's 44 cents. I think that could be good. Palladium Mirror reprint is really solid. Solemn Simulacrum reprint, amazing. Let's get the price of this card down. Under $2. Love it. Solemn Simulacrum is a great card, and I know that people are like, oh, it's overrated. You don't need Solemn. No, Solemn is still very, very good. Spark Hunter Masticore, 3 mana, 3/4. It's got a big downside. You got to discard a card to cast a spell. One thing that stinks is that it's to cast the spell, not when it enters the battlefield. So if you discard a card to cast it and someone counters, you're just like, oh my gosh, brutal. Protection from Planeswalkers is great. Dealing damage to Planeswalkers. Indestructible is really fun too. So running in a Planeswalker meta, this could be like doing a lot of damage to your opponents. Animal Sanctuary. Look at the kittens and the oxen and the little snake in the tree. Okay. Comes into play untapped. Adds a colorless. Untapped mana. Great. Okay. 2 and a tap. Put a +1/+1 counter on target. Bird, cat, dog, goat, ox, or snake. I love it so much. It's a perfect inclusion in any cat deck, in any dog deck, in any snake deck. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy for this card. It's great. All right, let's talk about lands. Fabled Passage is an amazing reprint. One thing that you might want to know if you're a collector, though, is that, look at this. The core set has an extended art Fabled Passage. But that was the same thing in Throne of Eldraine, an extended art Fabled Passage. So this is the first time, I believe, that we've had sort of one of these promo extended art reprints. A lot of times when you buy a promo, you buy a special looking card, it's kind of insulated from reprint a little bit better than the random card. People expect Fabled Passage to be reprinted, but not everyone expected this extended alternate art to be reprinted. And now that it is, we know that a lot of our cool promos that they're putting out there, well, they can kind of be reprinted at any time. You know, there isn't going to be sort of a special promo. Like, you think that if you're going to buy the cool Ugin that's coming out right now, you're like, look, I love the cool promo Ugin. I'm going to spend extra money on it. It's going to be this special thing in my commander deck. Like, is it going to be reprinted in 2 years and it's going to be the same art and look exactly the same? Just the set symbol is slightly different. So that's something to think about if you are a collector and if you like these things. Some of you just tuned out there, and that's fine. But I love that this is reprinted. I want this to be like a $3 card that you could put it in every commander deck. And by the way, these temples, great. I love that they're down to like 40 cents. These need to get as cheap as Guild Gates. I love it. Get them into every single deck. Just so great that they're being reprinted at this rate. Ooh, look at all this fanciness. Okay, so I'm going to look at some of the promos because I wanted to talk about the land art. But the first thing I want to do is talk about the cuddliest of them all. The one that I want to bring home and hang out with. And I'm pretty sure that it is going to be this Sky Scanner right here. I want to bring him home. I want a drone. You kidding me? I want a drone that lets me draw a card. Okay. Best art, Animal Sanctuary. Look at that art. I also want to bring some of these home. The dogs and the little cows. Love it. Those oxes. Okay. And the card that I'm most excited about in this set, I mean, Sanctum of All is right up there, but it's Rada. Dude, Rada is so good. I'm so excited to slot that into a lot of different decks. That's great. Okay, let's look at some promos and wrap everything up. Remember, there's a bajillion Teferi Master of Times, Sai. These are the borderless planeswalkers. I wish that they were better because they look amazing. Like, they look really good. I love the way this Garrick looks with the animals on the edges right there. But honestly, I think that these two are the only ones that are going to be good in Commander, and these other ones might find their home somewhere else. Showcase cards are really solid. I like the white text and these different frames right here. Like, this is something that I'm going to be really excited about putting in my deck. And then I think that there were yes, the lands are something that look really cool that I'm excited about. Look at these lands. Oh, I want to get a bunch of these. They look awesome. I love the different colored frames. This forest is really good. Okay, and then we got alternate art borderless. There's 4 of them, and all of these are great. Containment Priest is solid, playable, great extended art right there. Love the different stylings right there. Massacre Worm is solid. Cultivate. The Solemn I don't like very much. Look at this Solemn. I think it looks, because it looks like it has like a weird melted skull. I want it to be sad. This looks scary. I don't know. Maybe it's crying. Great Scavenging Ooze. Already talked about that. I need all of these cards. It's going to destroy my wallet. Buy a Box is Rin and Seri. I talked about this before, and this is just a fun deck. It's mostly going to be a cat deck, but it lets a cat deck sort of expand into red, and it lets it be a little bit more grindy versus sort of the aggressive Arabo deck. Planeswalker decks, nothing really to be impressed about here. And then you can kind of see what the extended arts are going to be. So if you see a card that you kind of like a lot, and by the way, these are the cards that are going to be ones that we care about. Mungar is something we care about. People are going to care about 9 lives. You know, going down here, Baron, people like. Discontinuity, people are excited about. The Whale, I'm excited about. Also Sublime Epiphany. I like the Snake. I like this thing, and then I also like Veto. The Brash Taunter, the Awesome Goblin, triple damage, cool Dragon. I think they know like which cards are gonna get attention. Terror of the Peaks. Azusa, big dude with tons of keywords. Kitty Cat. I should have used this as my let's talk about him page. Heroic Intervention, awesome. Got kitty cats in the back. You know, Spider. Bouncy thing, Rada. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Extended art. Okay, extended art ones of these too. Oh, Pack Leader. Okay, and we've reached the end. All right, what do I think about Core 2021 as I give you guys a headache by scrolling? Okay, the reprints are great. The reprints are amazing, and they've put really high value reprints in here too. I stopped at Grim Tutor up here, which is a crazy high value reprint, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Solemn and Cultivate and Massacre Worm and Ugin and Azusa and all that good stuff, man. They have done a great job. They've also put really high power, valuable creatures like this. The mythics are pretty overall solid. There's nothing really splashy, but Terror of the Peaks is just solid. You know, you go down to green and Elder Gargaroth is just this keyword soup thing. They've also done shout outs to cards that people have traditionally loved. Cats and Dogs is just a home run hit for flavor. So, and then you look at sort of the signposts. Oh, also home run. Sanctums, you know, all of the Hondens is just a home run. So you look at these sort of archetypes and you say, okay, +1/+1 counters. People love that theme. Cats and Dogs, people love that. Okay, there is some sacrifice stuff, but it's not really strong. Spells, there's prowess stuff. There's ways to get spells back. People love that. You know, gaining life and draining people, oh, amazing. You know what I mean? We got this just big, dumb, powerful stuff in red and black, honestly. We got bouncy shenanigans. I mean, it's just really hitting home with these very normal archetypes that people play a lot of. And that's kind of what core is all about, is that people are playing a lot of it. And so a lot of these cards are going to fit in your decks. By the way, Thrashing Bronze Dawn at Uncommon coming in, I know, is 11 cents back here. Love it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this pretty long video talking about all of the cards for Commander. Nope. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, taking a look at Core 2021. I had a lot of fun breaking down all these cards, and I'm so excited to slot them into my decks. I thank you so much for sticking with me. I want to thank Cool Stuff Inc. I want to thank my patrons. I want to thank you. Have a great one. Bye-bye.